She had a record-breaking season with the Indiana Fever in the WNBA. She shattered 6 rookie records for points and assists, 4 franchise records, and multiple all-time NBA records, including the most assists in a single game, 19. Reflecting on her impact, she stated, "I've been able to captivate so many people that have never watched women's sports."
Caitlin Clark promised to lift women's sports. Caitlin Clark has done it again. Named Athlete of the Year by Time, she's not just breaking records, she's breaking barriers. In her latest interview, Caitlin opened up about her journey, her mission to elevate women's sports, and the challenges she's faced along the way.
Obviously, people are so excited not only about women's basketball, but about women's sports, and how excited and deserving, not only myself, but just women's sports as a whole, the year that we've had.
From drawing sellout crowds to inspiring millions of young fans, she's become the face of a movement. But her bold statements and relentless drive to push women's sports into the spotlight aren't sitting well with everyone, especially those who feel threatened by her rise.
It's great, not just for her, I think it's great for the league.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody talked about the recognition that she brought to the W this season. So for her to be Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, I think it's really great for the league.
Yes, Angel Reese and Aja Wilson, that includes you. Caitlin didn't hold back in this interview. Reflecting on her meteoric rise, she spoke about the sacrifices she's made, the failures that fueled her growth, and her determination to leave a legacy far beyond basketball. She promised to keep raising the bar for women's sports, calling for greater investment, more visibility, and a shift in how the world views female athletes.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career.
Her words weren't just inspiring, they were a challenge to the WNBA and beyond to do better. It's clear Caitlin isn't content with just playing the game, she's here to change it. This video will take you inside Caitlin's world, from her reflections on being a role model to her fiery responses to critics who try to undermine her achievements. She's not just playing for herself, she's playing for every young girl watching from the stands.
And I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. But when she is the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, she's gonna lift that league up.
Dreaming of one day walking in her shoes. And as Caitlin makes her intentions clear, the WNBA finds itself at a crossroads. Embrace the change or risk being left behind. Whether they like it or not, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the rules. And this interview is proof that she's just getting started.
Caitlin Clark is becoming the best player, not because she's white, because she's that good. She's having Larry Bird impact. She's been the driving force of the hottest team in the entire league, despite her record turnovers.
Caitlin Clark's journey to being named Time's Athlete of the Year is nothing short of remarkable. In the interview, she described how this past year has been a whirlwind, from finishing her college career to stepping into the professional world as the face of the Indiana Fever and women's basketball as a whole. It wasn't just her talent that set her apart, it was her ability to draw attention to the sport in ways that had never been seen before. When Caitlin played, arenas sold out.
There is a lot of appropriate attention on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and we found out that the Fever Storm game from over the weekend drew 2.2 million viewers, which is massive. The WNBA has 18 games this season where they've had more than 1 million viewers average, and 16 of those 18 have featured Caitlin Clark. So you cannot deny the connectivity of Caitlin Clark playing basketball and people wanting to watch. If she's playing, they will come, they will watch the game.
The Atlanta Dream even had to move her game to a larger venue, filling 20,000 seats, a feat unheard of in women's basketball. Caitlin isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon, and she knows it. But Caitlin's rise wasn't without its challenges. The transition from college to the WNBA was fast-paced and demanding. She missed her college graduation, moved to a new city, and had to adapt to the intensity of professional basketball, all within weeks. Yet Caitlin handled it with grace, crediting her support system of family, friends, and coaches for helping her adjust.
The people that I got to do it with, I think that's what's made it so special, is my family with me the whole time, my friends, amazing teammates, amazing coaches, and it wouldn't be possible without all of them.
She shared how she leaned on her Midwestern roots to stay grounded amidst the chaos. For Caitlin, this year wasn't just about basketball, it was about proving that she could rise to every challenge thrown her way.
One more thing on Caitlin, which makes her super valuable, is she is leading the WNBA in points generated, which means points scored and or points assisted on. She is leading the league by a significant margin, and she is doing this as a rookie with a Fever team that is not comprised of a bunch of all-stars.
Her impact extends far beyond the court. Caitlin's presence has brought an undeniable energy to the WNBA, drawing fans who may have never watched women's basketball before. She spoke about the joy of seeing young girls and boys in the stands, holding signs and cheering her on. For Caitlin, it's not just about winning games. It's about creating memories and inspiring the next generation. She recalled how attending her first WNBA game as a child influenced her dream of becoming a professional basketball player. Now she's paying it forward, making sure that every fan who watches her play feels the same spark of inspiration she once felt. What truly sets Caitlin apart is her perspective. She emphasized that basketball, while a massive part of her life, doesn't define her entirely. Her goal is to be more than just a great athlete. She wants to be a role model, a leader, and someone who uplifts others. Caitlin spoke candidly about how she balances her competitive drive with the responsibility of being a public figure. Whether it's signing autographs for young fans or staying authentic in interviews, Caitlin makes it clear that her mission is bigger than basketball. She's here to make a lasting impact on women's sports and to show the world what's possible when passion meets purpose.
Caitlin Clark now has the rookie record, the history of the WNBA. She's now going to try to set the all-time record, but 12 games to go.
Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days what would have taken 5 years.
Caitlin Clark's influence isn't just reshaping women's basketball, it's redefining what it means to be a star athlete. In her Time interview, she shared how her success has led to unprecedented attention for women's sports. For years, women's basketball struggled to gain the respect and visibility it deserved, but Caitlin's rise has changed the narrative. She reflected on how, just a few years ago, women's games were relegated to secondary networks or overlooked entirely. Today, her games are broadcast on primetime television, drawing massive audiences and proving that there's a hunger for women's sports when the spotlight is given. Caitlin's ability to sell out arenas and command national attention isn't just a personal victory, it's a victory for the entire movement. But Caitlin isn't naive about the challenges that still exist. She boldly called out the lack of investment in women's sports, emphasizing how much more could be achieved if the resources matched the potential. She pointed to the WNBA's progress, such as playing on major networks like ABC and ESPN, but made it clear that this is just the beginning. For Caitlin, the question isn't whether women's sports will grow, it's how fast they can grow if given the proper support. Her message was as clear as it was powerful. The time to invest in women's sports is now, before the opportunity to capitalize on its momentum slips away.
Caitlin Clark has been the best thing, the most dominant thing. Remember, there's been good players come out of college, but nobody really cared. We'd seen it. Nobody really cared.
What's striking about Caitlin is her ability to lead by example. She doesn't just talk about change, she embodies it. From her on-court performances to her interactions with fans, Caitlin shows what's possible when passion meets determination. She shared how she draws inspiration from the young fans who come to her games, often traveling great distances just to see her play. Some bring signs, others wear her jersey, and many leave with memories they'll cherish forever. Caitlin makes it a point to acknowledge them, knowing that a single autograph or a quick interaction could inspire a child to dream big. She doesn't just play for herself, she plays for every young girl who sees her as proof that their dreams are worth chasing. Yet Caitlin also addressed the criticism that comes with her rising fame. As a white athlete dominating in a league historically led by black women, she's faced questions about privilege and representation. Caitlin didn't shy away from these topics. Instead, she acknowledged the trailblazing black women who built the league and stressed the importance of continuing to uplift them. She spoke about her admiration for players like Maya Moore, who inspired her as a child, and how she aims to honor their legacy by advocating for equality and inclusivity in the sport. Caitlin's approach is thoughtful and authentic. She doesn't try to silence critics, but rather uses the conversation to highlight the bigger picture, the growth of women's sports as a whole.
One thing Caitlin Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now, makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never. You never hear that. Now, That's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league.
Caitlin also revealed how she stays grounded amidst the pressure and scrutiny. She shared that her secret weapon is her ability to block out the noise and focus on what truly matters: her teammates, her coaches, and the fans who believe in her. For Caitlin, the opinions of outsiders don't carry the same weight as those who have been with her every step of the way. This clarity allows her to navigate the challenges of fame with a maturity far beyond her 22 years. She's not just an athlete, she's a leader who understands the responsibility that comes with her platform, and she's determined to use it for good.
Caitlin Clark is just such a class act. She was incredible, breaking all types of records, and that's something she was certainly proud of. We saw lots of smiles on the court.
Caitlin is the face right now, and that's also good. Like, she's selling out gyms, of course. Like, why would you hate against that?
Caitlin Clark's journey to the top hasn't been without its struggles, but it's those very challenges that have shaped her into the athlete and leader she is today. In her Time interview, she opened up about the failures that fueled her growth, sharing pivotal moments that tested her resolve. One such moment was being cut from the junior national team after previously making the roster. Rather than let the disappointment define her, Caitlin used it as motivation to improve. She returned stronger, earning a spot on the U19 team and proving that setbacks are merely stepping stones for those willing to put in the work. Another defining moment came during her sophomore year of college when her team suffered a shocking NCAA tournament upset. The loss, though devastating, lit a fire in Caitlin, pushing her to lead her team to back-to-back Final Four appearances in the years that followed. These experiences taught Caitlin the value of resilience, a lesson she now carries with her in the WNBA. As a rookie, she played an exhausting schedule, competing in 82 games without missing a single one, a feat rarely seen even in seasoned professionals. Despite the grueling demands, Caitlin never faltered, demonstrating not only her physical endurance but also her mental toughness. She spoke about the importance of embracing the grind and finding joy in the process, even when the odds seem stacked against her. It's this relentless drive that sets Caitlin apart and makes her a beacon of hope for the future of women's sports.
But the attention she brought to the sport, hopefully going to have a residual effect for years to come.
But Caitlin's influence extends far beyond her personal achievements. She's actively changing the way women's basketball is perceived, both on and off the court. Her style of play, marked by deep three-pointers, high-energy performances, and visible passion, has captured the hearts of fans worldwide. Caitlin believes that her emotional connection to the game is what resonates most with people. She plays with an intensity that's impossible to ignore, making every game feel like an event. Off the court, she's just as impactful, taking time to connect with fans and ensure they feel seen and appreciated. Caitlin's philosophy is simple but powerful. Every fan matters, and their support is what keeps the sport alive. Her ability to inspire isn't limited to fans. Caitlin's leadership has had a profound effect on her teammates and the broader basketball community. She spoke about how she strives to create a culture of excellence and mutual respect within her team, leading by example and encouraging others to rise to their potential. Caitlin understands that true success isn't achieved alone. It's built through collaboration and shared vision. Her approach has not only elevated her team, but also set a standard for others in the league to follow. Caitlin also touched on her vision for the future of women's sports, and it's nothing short of revolutionary. She imagines a world where women's games are as accessible and celebrated as their male counterparts, where young girls grow up seeing themselves represented on the biggest stages. She highlighted the progress already made, such as games being broadcast on major networks and the increasing visibility of WNBA players, but stressed that this is only the beginning. Caitlin is committed to pushing the boundaries even further, advocating for greater investment, better marketing, and more opportunities for women athletes. Perhaps most striking was Caitlin's acknowledgement of the personal responsibility she feels to carry the torch for the next generation. She understands that her platform is a privilege and a responsibility, one she doesn't take lightly. Caitlin shared stories of fans who traveled from across the country just to watch her play, or who told her that meeting her was a life-changing moment. These encounters remind her why she does what she does and fuel her desire to keep going. Caitlin isn't just playing for herself, she's playing for the countless young athletes who see her as proof that their dreams are worth pursuing. Amid all the praise, Caitlin has also faced her fair share of detractors, including some within the WNBA. Players like Angel Reese and Aja Wilson have made no secret of their disdain, often trying to diminish Caitlyn's accomplishments. But Caitlyn doesn't let the negativity phase her. Instead, she focuses on the bigger picture, growing the sport and ensuring it thrives for years to come. Her ability to rise above the noise and stay true to her mission is a testament to her character and determination. As Caitlin Clark continues to break barriers and redefine what's possible in women's sports, one thing is clear: she's not just a player, she's a movement. Her journey, marked by resilience, passion, and an unwavering commitment to excellence, is a story for the ages. And while her critics may try to bring her down, Caitlyn's focus remains on lifting others up, proving that true greatness lies in the ability to inspire and empower.
What Caitlin Clark does is kind of simple, really. She shows up at games, she signs autographs, she talks to little girls wearing jerseys, she smiles to the crowd, and then here's the most important thing: she competes like a maniac. I mean, like a maniac.
Caitlin Clark's story is more than just a tale of athletic excellence. It's a blueprint for the future of women's sports. From her record-breaking performances to her unwavering commitment to empowering others, Caitlin has become a force of nature. Her journey, filled with triumphs and setbacks, demonstrates that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about resilience, vision, and the courage to challenge the status quo. She's not only redefining what it means to be a star in women's basketball, but also laying the foundation for generations to come. Her promises to elevate women's sports are more than words. They're a call to action. Caitlyn has shown that when given the platform, women's sports can captivate audiences, inspire millions, and generate a level of excitement that rivals any other sport. But she's also made it clear that this momentum requires continued investment and support. Her message to the WNBA and the sports world at large is simple: the time to act is now. The visibility, the growth, and the opportunity are all there. It's up to the industry to match the energy Caitlyn brings every time she steps on the court. What makes Caitlyn's impact so profound is her authenticity. She doesn't shy away from the tough conversations, whether it's addressing criticism, acknowledging privilege, or advocating for equality. Caitlyn's ability to navigate these challenges with grace and honesty has only strengthened her connection with fans and cemented her role as a leader. She's not afraid to stand up for what she believes in, even when it means facing backlash. That courage, combined with her undeniable talent, is what makes her unstoppable. As Caitlyn continues to rise, her influence extends far beyond the hardwood. She's a symbol of hope for young athletes, a role model for aspiring leaders, and a reminder that change is possible when you refuse to settle for less. Her vision for women's sports isn't just about selling out arenas or breaking TV ratings. It's about creating a world where every girl who dreams of greatness has the chance to achieve it. Caitlyn's story is proof that those dreams are worth chasing, and her actions are paving the way for others to follow. In the end, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player or even just a leader. She's a movement. Her legacy will be defined not only by her accomplishments on the court, but also by the doors she's opened for others. As she continues to break barriers and silence doubters, one thing is certain: Caitlin Clark is just getting started, and the world of women's sports will never be the same. Whether the WNBA is ready for it or not, Caitlin is here to stay, and her promise to lift women's sports is a promise she's already delivering on.